So Manchester United is finally back in the Champions League, and we definitely need to build a squad over the summer that is definitely going to suit the Champions League quality. It's also going to be very competitive in the Champions League because going into the Champions League is just the first step, and also building a squad that is competitive to fight in the Champions League is another step. Because if you watch so many Premier League clubs like Newcastle United, Chelsea, Liverpool, and also Tottenham Hotspur, they weren't able to build a very suitable squad, a very good squad with a lot of quality that could compete in the Champions League. And you could see that it also affected their domestic performances. So Manchester United, of course, has to build a very good squad because you are going to be facing a lot of tricky teams. You are going to be facing a lot of teams that's been in a lot of Champions League finals, that has a lot of experience. And also, if you don't build a team that has a lot of Champions League quality and technicality, definitely you're not going to be competing at the highest level in the Champions League. And also, we are going to be losing Casemiro, that has a lot of Champions League experience. He has won a lot of Champions League. So, of course, it's going to be a big loss for Manchester United. And also, we have a lot of players in our squad that is very premature and amateur when it comes to the Champions League. We have Ahmad, we have Meno, we have Heaven, we have a lot of players in our team. Also, even in Mbeumo at 27 doesn't have a Champions League experience. So, of course, we need a lot of technical players. We need a lot of stars that we are going to buy from the Champions League that has a lot of Champions League experience that is going to help to elevate our squad quality and in terms of technical ability. Because, of course, in the Champions League, if you don't get a good squad, if you don't build the right squad, you're definitely going to be getting smashed. So as we all know, we definitely need lots of midfield signing at Manchester United this summer. We need 3 to 4 midfielders at most for Manchester United next season. And definitely out of these 3 to 4 signings, we definitely need like 1 or 2 midfielders at most that has a lot of Champions League experience, because it is not just enough to sign players and just to add quantity instead of quality. Manchester United needs like 1 or 2 midfielders inside the 3 or 4 that definitely has a lot of Champions League experience. And when selecting midfielders, of course, there are a lot of criteria that they have to meet. There are a lot of qualities that they have to meet, but also experience also matter a lot when it comes to Champions League. And then when also choosing this midfield for Manchester United, definitely my first pick is going to be Aurelian Tchouameni, because there has been a lot of reports that Manchester United have Aurelian Tchouameni as one of their number 6 and number 8 target for the midfield position this season. It was, the report broke out 1 month ago. But definitely, if you're looking at Aurelian Tchouameni, he's definitely the player that Manchester United should be looking at, because of course he has a lot of Champions League experience. He has won the Champions League for Real Madrid, so of course he's a player that we should be looking at. But the question still remains for Aurelian Tchouameni if Real Madrid are going to be letting him go, because of course Real Madrid wants to do a lot of overhaul in a lot of positions this season. So of course they will be looking to sell some players from their team, but we don't know if Aurelian Tchouameni might be one of the players they'll be looking to sell. So definitely, if we cannot get Aurelian Tchouameni, the second target or my second pick definitely has to be Bruno Guimaraes from Newcastle United, because Bruno Guimaraes is an excellent player. Like I've always mentioned on Tactical Trafford here, he's definitely the player that I want Manchester United to get, because in as much as he has a lot of Champions League experience, he has a lot of leadership quality. He has a very big personality that can help Manchester United a lot in terms of mentality. So of course he's my pick. Even though he has not won the Champions League, he doesn't have the sort of Champions League pedigree that Aurelian Tchouameni has, but he's a player that should be winning the Champions League in his career. He's a player that if Manchester United wants a huge leap in the midfield position, he's definitely a player that can be able to give us a good leap, because he has played a lot of tough matches for Newcastle in the Champions League. He has played against Barcelona, he has played against PSG. So of course we need a player like Bruno Guimaraes in the midfield position, and he's somebody that I've always definitely want. Despite the age barrier, he's going to be 29 by November this year. But that doesn't matter, because football is no longer ranked or based on age, because players play and get into their peaks whenever they get to their late 20s and their early 30s. So of course Bruno Guimaraes is still going to be a viable target for Manchester United. Also, my third pick is definitely going to be Sandro Tonali from Newcastle United, because Sandro Tonali has always been one of my favorite players. He's been an absolutely good player, and also reports has come out from Fabrizio Romano that he's not willing to return to Italy and he wants to remain in the Premier League if he leaves Newcastle United. And of course he has a lot of Champions League experience. He played in the Champions League for AC Milan. At just the age of 20, he was able to help AC Milan to get to the semi-finals of the Champions League, and also he has played in numerous Champions League games with Newcastle United. He has played a lot of tough games. He has had this Champions League experience. So, of course, he's definitely a player that I should be looking at, Manchester United should be looking at when it comes to signing midfielders that can tick our midfield box criteria and also the Champions League experience criteria. Because, of course, Manchester United is going to be playing a lot of difficult games, a lot of difficult away games, especially when you go away to Atletico Madrid, PSG, Galatasaray, Bodo Glimt, Inter Milan. These are very difficult games, and you need a lot of players with Champions League experience to help us out. But before there is going to be a lot of commotion in the comment section, you have to realize that Manchester United cannot get these three players. There is nothing on earth that makes you get Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali from Newcastle United in the same window. So, of course, from these three targets I just mentioned, we are definitely going to be getting one or two at most. But definitely, I would like your thoughts on the comment section on who you want or which midfielder you prefer to be the ideal midfield pick in the midfield position for Manchester United. So definitely the next position we should be looking at when trying to reinforce for the Champions League next season should be the defensive position. Personally, for me, I feel Manchester United need a new central back and a new left back. But for the course of this video, definitely I'm going to be speaking on the left back position, because we can't go into next season hoping on Luke Shaw to definitely go back to his prime. Definitely Manchester United need a new left back, because Luke Shaw doesn't have the engine anymore. And also looking at definitely various left backs in the market that has a lot of Champions League experience, that is still young, that is still good. Definitely I'm going to be picking Lewis Hall from Newcastle United, because he's going to definitely be one of my top picks. He's a very good player. He's very technically good. He has a lot of Champions League experience with Newcastle United, even though it is not much, but at least he has a lot of experience. He has played tough games for Newcastle. He has been one of their most crucial players this season. And of course, you know that we can't definitely get Lewis Hall, Bruno Guimaraes or Tonali one season, because you can't definitely rate Newcastle just because they're having a good season. But in terms of quality, in terms of technicality, in terms of a player that is going to suit whatever manager that Manchester United is going to bring, Lewis Hall is definitely that player. He's a technically gifted player. He has a very good press resistant nature. He can swaggle out of tight spaces. He's very good in the first phase because he can play out from the back. He has a very good engine. He can run from the left back to the left wing position with a lot of intensity. And also in the case whereby, of course, Matheus Cunha likes to drift inside. In the case where he wants to drift inside, Lewis Hall can also create an overlap. And also in the case where Matheus Cunha wants to create an overlap, Lewis Hall can also join in the midfield and try to create an underlap. So overall, Lewis Hall is definitely a player that we should be looking at. And also another really gifted left back that Manchester United should be looking at, though he is close to his 30s, should be Grimaldo from Leverkusen, because he's also a very good player. But I don't know if Manchester United is definitely looking at his direction. But for the course of this video, we'll focus on Lewis Hall. And also the last position Manchester United should be looking at this summer transfer window should be the forward position. The reason I said the forward position, because of course recently we know that Amad Diallo and Bryan Mbeumo has been in a very bad form. They have dipped in form, and so of course we should be looking at getting the forwarder, because we don't know if Joshua Zirkzee is definitely going to leave. If he's going to leave Manchester United, then we should be looking at getting two forwarders. But if Zirkzee doesn't leave, then Manchester United need to get a forwarder that can be able to play across the front three, because we cannot afford going into next season hoping on Amad Diallo, Bryan Mbeumo to pick their forms. So of course it is only Cunha and Benjamin Sesko that has been very, very crucial for Manchester United towards this ending part of the season, because they have really done well for Manchester United in big games. Matheus Cunha has showed up in definitely almost all the big games you have played, even though he has not scored in all the big games, but of course he has make his impact to be felt. So of course Manchester United really tried in recruiting forwarders last season. All the forwarders we have recruited last season has actually performed. They have actually gotten to the 10 goals limit this season. But I think when Manchester United want to get a forwarder this season that has Champions League experience, that is going to elevate us, that is going to show up in big games, that is going to come out with a lot of quality, definitely a player that I would like Manchester United to get is definitely going to be Bakola from PSG, because I cannot overemphasize what he has done in the Champions League this season. Him and Kvaratskhelia, he has been absolutely wonderful. Bakola should be the winger that can play across the front line we should be looking at, because Enrique likes to play with a lot of positional rotation, and that makes his players to be able to be comfortable in all positions. Bakola can play on the left, on the right, or through the center. So of course, even though he's the player that I feel that PSG might not be looking to sell, but I feel he's a player that has this quality, technical quality. He's gifted, he's hardworking, and he's a player that can be able to take Manchester United forward line to the next level. So I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section on the players you want on these various positions I've mentioned. I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Tactical Trafford. See you guys in my next video.